The Shishano Betudra na Afinuko na Vieno na ya fre omo mudi kan na ya bom abaso e wo police headquarters aso ye ho enkwa enyem yenu ye de ba ko ato chacha enti sanse enyem yenu ye de ba ko ato chacha enti no enim se samro mnya beti ase se ye kodru ene hia na nye enye nkodu enti mun kama kuma ntumu yem yenim se police buses are kese ne bedi kan enye VIP ne bedi kan
asenya Israel.
Well, as what characterizes Easter celebrations and other festivities like the one we are in now, there's a lot of movement from places to others, particularly into the eastern region where Easter is mainly celebrated in the country. And you heard the IGP speaking to some drivers, advising them, if you like, telling them that the service is launching an award scheme for transport companies or operators that record fewer accidents by the end of the year. That's some good news for them. And celebrating Easter, talk about the movement to the eastern region and other parts of the country. Some drivers who spoke to my colleague Christian Yali, they say they are recording high patronage due to the Easter celebrations. They have also pledged to safe driving on the road.
Oh, I give me a call. I know that they are buti. I give me a call. Once I will curse you, say no. I am a person as a man. And Tomobas also, I assume Wamuye. Yawa Brasema, Yasuamuye. And then China, 3 days of Pana come. They are saying, what gift for the Abba.
The Sherman and Maya, some Mobema, a quine so Jojo.
Oh, I cross Jojo and Panu for Crab, Habania Trasadada. Abachandi. And I am and Coco ready. Yano, Yen Pemri Katuo. And I drive a beer no Waha or no Masa. And I am con young consama. Into your Quaboko. Ah, at the other door. Nabi kotu mi kanumba kumwa passengers. Dabi. So kwa uniwa. Ebi awa week na drivers spin tire fund packet week no akwa baako. Shabasi week no akwa baako. Sanye wo kesi tama ye brewa ha papa. Pawo. Enkalaya.
Well, Easter is always characterized by the popular Kwawo slogan, if you like, by a lot of people in the country. And people in Ghana and around the world, particularly Christians, they're observing Good Friday as a holiday. But what exactly does Good Friday mean, and of what importance is it to the human race? There's more in the following report.
Are you the king of the Jews? Don't you know I have the power to crucify you or set you free?
Good Friday is a day on which Christians around the world observe the commemoration of the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. The day is observed on a Friday before Easter Sunday, and it is considered good because of the ultimate sacrifice made by Jesus, which opened the way for salvation and reconciliation between God and humanity. Christians therefore observe Good Friday to honor the way Jesus Christ underwent tremendous suffering and died for their sins. So on the day, faithful attend service where the accounts of Jesus' agonizing crucifixion is recounted. Some believers even choose to fast as a way of expressing their grief, wear black to symbolize the mourning, and venerate the Holy Cross.
We share the suffering, the death of our Lord Jesus Christ, and we love him also to the end. The Resurrection Day, all Christians the world over are going to rejoice over the resurrection of our Lord Jesus Christ.
On this day till Easter Sunday, Christians are encouraged to observe silence. So as you stay home, you may want to try and keep television, phones and social media away for the day. Hope this is simple to do.
We should try as much as possible to measure out this love to one and all, not just to Christians, but people who are not even part and parcel of our food. We should be able to reach out to them. Let us forgive one another and let us live in the power of God's love. And may the triumphant entry of our Lord Jesus Christ, which led to his death and resurrection, make all of us victorious. Peace to all of you.
Evelyn Tinkma, TV3 News, Accra.
Well, as Christians begin to remember the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, a lot of messages are pouring in from world leaders and in the country. Let's take some messages from the former President John Dramani Mahama and the Vice President Dr. Bawumia. So this is a message from Dr. Bawumia, the Vice President of the country, wishing all Christians or celebrants of Easter happy Easter. And it says, I wish Christians in Ghana and around the world a happy Easter. As Christians commemorate the passing of Jesus Christ, I entreat all to learn from the sacrifice illustrated by Christ to humanity and emulate it to ensure cordial coexistence on the earth. Let's have an incident-free festive season. This was posted on the social media handles of the Vice President. Now to the former President, John Dramani Mahama. He also says, may the ultimate sacrifice of Christ, who gave his life for our sake, guide our journey on earth and instill in us the power of forgiveness and compassion. May his redeeming blood fill us with hope, joy and peace and inspire us to love one another as Christ loved us. May our Lord's sacrifice of love and compassion for humanity reflect in our actions. And he ends by saying, a happy Easter. So there's an underlying message in all of this. There's the need for love, for peaceful coexistence and levels of sacrifice in the world we find ourselves in. So wherever you're watching us from, happy Easter from all of us to you as well. Let's bring you some other stories. And the International Monetary Fund wants China to help speed up work to reach debt restructuring agreements for countries like Zambia, Ghana and Ethiopia. IMF Chief Kristalina Georgieva said he met with China's new top economic official, Li Guang, and other top officials during a visit to China last month. And on Thursday, he said she found Li very approachable and pragmatic. The IMF chief noted that Li assured her that he wants China to play a constructive role in resolving debt relief cases. Western countries have faulted China for causing delays in setting up restructuring agreements for heavily indebted countries. Well, this message was for Ghana, the Gambia and other African countries. But in Ghana's case, for instance, what does this say on the quest to get the IMF bailout and Ghana's efforts to restructure its debts with China? Let's speak with Professor John Gatch, who is the Dean of the University of Cape Coast Business. Prof, thank you for joining us. Happy Easter to you. The Finance Minister recently came back from China and reported of progress in talks for China to support in Ghana's external debt restructuring. Now, we have an IMF chief asking China to help speed up work to reach debt restructuring agreements for countries like Zambia, Ghana and Ethiopia. Your take on this?
Ghana, I think all the preconditions that the IMF put before Ghana have been met. So it is only proper that the only lingering issue has to do with China. So pressing on China to be more proactive and speed up the process, I think is in the right direction to secure the IMF program. Because if almost all the domestic preconditions have been met, and then the willingness of other creditor nations and institutions is presented, but we need China to strategically approve this, then I think it's in the right direction, pressing on China to speed up that process.
That said, is this an indication, if you like, or something compelling for China to do in order to look good in the face of the IMF?
Well, I think China may not do this to look good in the eyes of IMF. China would do this to look good to itself to fulfill its own strategic goals of engaging other countries with debt. But China is a complex country when it comes to the approval process. So I'm not sure one institution is supposed to be agreeing to what has happened. So the consultation with domestic institution to finalize it, I think that is what China is going through. So I'm not sure China will do this because of pleasing the IMF.
You mentioned that it is a complicated country and a lot of things may be at stake here, but do you see China listening to the IMF in this regard?
Well, I think China has opened up now. So if China were not to have opened up, perhaps this message will not be coming. So since you open up, speed up the process. So I think that is where we are now.
From some good news to somewhat bad, according to the World Bank April 2023 Africa Pulse report, Ghana is yet to make progress with the G20 Common Framework debt treatment with its bilateral creditors. How worried or surprised are you by this?
I think my understanding is that the Western world have clearly understood that they needed to salvage some countries in Africa with their debt situation. So I believe that is not cumbersome than what we're talking about China. I think the IMF director who was talking is very much aware of the G20 arrangement, and she was aware that that process would be speedily done. And that is why he's calling on China to come on board quickly. So I'm not sure that is the main problem now. I think the main problem has to do with the agreement by China.
Prof, pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for your time with us. Professor John Gatchie is the Dean of the University of Cape Coast Business School, speaking with us there. The Ashanti Regional Office of the Electricity Company of Ghana has disconnected power supply to the official residence of the Amansa South District Chief Executive at Manso Ajuba in the Ashanti region. The exercise forms part of ECG's revenue mobilization drive to collect debts owed by customers. The residence of the Amansa South DC, Clement Opoku, was among several private homes and public institutions disconnected on the debt recovery exercise. Also disconnected during the operation included some bungalows of the Amansa South District Assembly, Office of the Immigration Service in the district, Ghana Education Service Office in the district, amongst others. Engineer David Buedia Samoa is the Ashanti Regional Director of the Electricity Company of Ghana.
We've been to the district assembly. They are paid fully. We've been to other institutions, the health facilities, and we've been to the customs, we've been to the immigration. We've disconnected many of them who failed to pay. And now we are before the DC's residence. When we came here, we have realized that the power supply to the place is an unauthorized service. Unauthorized means he never applied to ECG, but he used scantling. You can see that pool there is a scantling pool. He used the scantling through somebody's plot to draw service to his place. And at the time we got here, what prompted us most was that all the lights were on. Then we said that if the person is paying, why has he left everything on? But our investigation has shown that even the service to the place is unauthorized. So,
well, still on utilities, the Ghana Water Company Limited says henceforth it will register and regulate the activities of commercial tanker operations in the country. According to the Managing Director of the Ghana Water Company, Engineer Dr. Clifford Barima, he said the move will help sanitize the system and restore safety and value for money along the value chain.
Once you want to distribute water for people to drink, Ghana Water Company should take control to regulate you so that we can disinfect your tanks every 6 months. We can check how much we sell to you and what your profit margin should be so that you don't come and take water from me 2 cedis, go and sell it 100 cedis, and tell the customer that because of fuel, because of spare parts, that's why the 2 cedis Ghana Water Company water has moved to 100 cedis. Because we are not regulating them, we have decided that we will sell the water to them as we sell to people who sell our water.
Okay.
And they now think that it's very hard. One officer, a retired officer, public service, called me one afternoon because construction of roads disrupted the lines going to his house. And because of that, every week he spent 600 Ghana cedis. Water tanker. So in a month, he's going to spend 2,400. And the rate Ghana Water Company was charging him on monthly basis was less than 400 Ghana cedis.
Away from that story to some security matters and to Bawku in particular. The week we've seen unidentified persons shot into a car carrying some immigration officers who were heading to Bawku. One officer was killed and 2 others have been receiving treatment for multiple gunshot wounds. Well, some 1,000 security personnel have been dispatched to Bawku to increase security while also assisting investigation into the matter. Now, Bawku has been in turmoil since November 24, 2021, leading to the loss of dozens of lives and the destruction of property. Emmanuel Koting is a security analyst, sharing with us some fresh perspectives on the latest development happening in Bawku. Mr. Koting, thank you for joining us. This conflict in Bawku, it seems to be an ending one. Is the answer no more security personnel and dialogue between the residents?
Well, thank you for having me and good afternoon to your cherished viewers. And may I use this opportunity to wish you and your team Merry Christmas and Happy Easter and Ghanaians at large. You see, Bawku is doable, but the solution to the Bawku conflict is not military. I think that the military activities in Bawku should be a stopgap measure to bring law and order, so that the other ingredients of peace building can kick in. And until we can bring the feuding factions to a roundtable discussion, we cannot have a military solution in Bawku. The real question is, what is the conflict all about? Is the Mampresh's claim over Bawku as against the Pusasi's claim over Bawku? So it's a matter of chieftaincy and jurisdiction. What does the law say? And we need to look at the law and apply same appropriately. If you look at the Ministry of Chieftaincy and Culture, that was recently created by the President, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, he did indicate and elaborated the good reason why that ministry should be created. But I think it has not lived up to its expectation. Bawku is not alone. There are other areas that are engulfed with chieftaincy challenges. And it is because the ministry have not been empowered enough to organize programs to empower and sensitize chiefs. And if you look at recently, when we created the new regions, you have certain paramountcies in one region and attending National House of Chief meeting in another region. So I think that government must look at how it can harmonize these processes, then we don't have another Bawku in other places. But look, I dare say that if you ask the youth of Bawku why they are fighting, it's quite interesting. I think it's about time, apart from bringing the feuding factions together to talk, government needs to put a Truth and Reconciliation Commission in place so that the feuding faction will have a platform to tell their story. By so doing, you will be engineering trust between these feuding factions. You understand? Then the other ingredients of this burden can kick in. Let me tell you, with this commission, you know, there are a lot of people that have lost their livelihoods and they don't know where to turn. So they feel the best way to go is to continue with the fighting. With the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, people will look at each other's faces where they have to say sorry, they say sorry to one another. And if there are instances of people who have lost their livelihoods, there's some form of repatriation for these citizens, it is done. So the military sending 1,000 military personnel to Boku to me is wanton dissipation of our scarce resources. And let me tell you, there are a lot of things that go behind. That is where the conflict profiteers benefit. And it is in the interest of the conflict profiteers to see this kind of upheavals. And I think government must put its feet down and look at how we can bring these feudal factions together to dialogue and create the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. And I think, Boku, we can find a solution.
Mr. Koting, pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for your time with us on Midday Live. That was Mr. Emmanuel Koting, who is a security analyst, sharing with us some perspectives on the ongoing Boko-related disturbances and the conflict there. Away from that, a rainstorm has wreaked havoc on school infrastructure at the Gbewa College of Education campus at Pusiga in the Upper East region. Other buildings in the Pusiga township were also not spared.
Our students vacated on Saturday, 1st April. That is just a divine intervention. If not, we would have had casualties because the level of the destruction and the speed with which the wind came, it could have caused anything to any student. And they would have been panicked. Even the rush to get out of the hall would have caused anything.
The Wednesday, April 5 rainstorm began at 5 p.m. and lasted about 30 minutes. The college's assembly hall, library, women's dormitory, fence wall, lecturers' bungalows, and administration block were all affected.
The college has one main female hall, and that is the hall that has been ripped off totally. The mattresses and goods of students that they left in the halls have been wetted, and we had to do our best to see how much we could rescue out of that. Currently, in fact, I cannot tell you the amount of the destruction. So we have invited in AESL, which will come to campus after the Easter break, somewhere Tuesday, to come and help us to assess.
The incident has exposed teaching and learning materials at the college to the vagaries of the weather.
And between now and May 7th, if we do not get any serious intervention, the school will be in total shit, because we have a female hostel that has given to contract since 2010 or 2011. The contractor has been on that building, till I came and met it, and we've tried everything to see how they could quicken up the pace of the contract and have it delivered to the school. If that is not done, then the school will have a lot to deal with.
Also affected was the demonstration basic school block. Officials of the National Disaster Management Organization in Pusiga have since been assessing the situation and cost of damage.
So let's now get to Emmanuel Awimini as the National Disaster Management Organization Director for Pusiga. Let's get the extent of damage exactly from their perspectives. Mr. Awinimi, thank you for your time with us on the program. Happy Easter to you, but this is some sad news. What is the extent of damage we know at their college?
Thank you very much, and thank you to your cherished viewers and listeners. Actually, what has happened is something that we have never experienced in the district as far as this situation is concerned. The rainstorm that occurred on 2 days ago around 6 p.m. actually affected most parts of the college. And what happened is the girls' dormitory, which houses the female students in the school, is totally ripped off. When we say totally ripped off, it means that all the roof is gone. Now, the auditorium is also totally ripped off. The school's administration is partially ripped off. The 3 masters bungalows are also partially ripped off. The school's library too has been affected, partially ripped off. So currently, the assessment is ongoing. We haven't been able to conclude yet, but the situation at hand is that we have been able to manage to fix back the administration block and one of the masters bungalows through the initiative of the school itself. But as it is right now, the guest dormitory block and the auditorium is beyond our capacity. Therefore, we are appealing to government and non-governmental organizations to come to our aid. When the school resumes, we don't know where the students will be. Because the situation at hand, we're fortunate in the first place when the students were not on campus. If not, it would have been a serious issue. Because look at the nature of the disaster, most students would have been injured. In the community in which the school is located, about 400 houses have also been, about 40 houses have also been affected, about 40 houses. And in these houses, we equally have, we got 2 injured recorded, and then they are currently at the hospital receiving treatment.
Right.
But the situation has to do much on the campus, because when you look at the indigenous or the community, most of the people have been moved to stay with relatives. But when the students comes back, our problem is where will they be? So we are appealing all to help, come to our aid, because the female block is the only block in the school that houses the females. So that is where the problem lies now.
So let's talk about the entire township at the moment. So a lot of houses were also affected. Where are the residents of those places? Where are they sheltering? And what's the nature of relief items giving to them looking like?
Currently, we are still doing the needs assessment, and then the rapid assessment has been done yesterday. And when in doing the rapid assessment, we were able to identify some of these problems, and we were able to move them to safe places that they could live temporarily. And these are schools and mosques. But the problem is due to the wide nature of the situation, it affected 2 major electoral areas. And we are done with one, and we are currently working on the other. We will be able to come out with a comprehensive report on the situation in general. But as it is right now, we have been able to do about 70% of the assessment, and the situation is something that really needs support, especially that of the Gwewa College of Education campus.
Mr. Awinime, thank you so much for your time with us on the program. We've been speaking with Emmanuel Awinime, who is the National Disaster Management Organization Director for Pusiga, speaking to us about the destruction that the college has suffered and some portions of the community. Now, children are to benefit from free surgeries of genetic disorders being conducted at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital. But for this intervention, the 5-year-old Johnny Ashley and many other children would continue to suffer until their families could afford payment.
Congenital anomalies is the 13th leading cause of death and disabilities, according to the WHO in 2017. These anomalies, which includes hernia, lumps and bumps, undescended testes, and hypospadia, are inherited and not apparent at birth until after screening. They in turn impact negatively on society by causing financial, psychological, and physical burden on the baby, their families, and the entire community.
For example, the hernia can get stuck there. So basically, the hernia is the intestine that is coming out. So the intestine can get there, can be stuck. We call it incarceration, so it can be stuck there. And if it's stuck there for a while, it can strangulate, meaning that the blood supply to the intestine can be cut off, and that part of the intestine will be dead. And if that happens, it's a very big emergency. If it's not operated in time, the intestine can perforate, the child can die from complications. So it's good that we try to fix these things as early as possible.
5-year-old Johnny was born with hernia, but his mother, Belinda Mensah, said she could not afford the surgery.
I couldn't afford my son's surgery. They gave me 2 weeks to return to the hospital, but there was no transportation. I was given a call that Benevolence are here to help. My heartfelt gratitude to them for helping me pay for my son's surgery.
Surgery, which will last 3 days, is being conducted by 4 sets of pediatric surgeons.
On a daily basis, we see children and desperate parents who come. Some you book for surgery, they will not be able to afford the bills. Some come and they have minor issues, fear, anxiety. Others come as far as into surgery and then they change their mind. All boils down to their own psychological factors. But with this prep, at least the relief of not paying is even enough for our mothers.
We're expecting to do between 30 to 50 surgeries. Though, as I speak to you right now, we still have people who are still coming in to be registered for these surgeries because we believe that Easter is all about giving.
Medical Director of the Rich Hospital, Dr. Emmanuel Srofenyo, says the gesture is an Easter treat for families.
If people hear it and they can get to the Greater Accra Regional Hospital tomorrow early in the morning, the doctors are here, they will assess. If it needs operation, they will carry it out. So it is going to go on throughout the rest of the day and then again the whole day of Saturday, so that at the end of the day we will see how many of these children will have touched with this.
As we leave the facility, 2-year-old Farouk is being prepared for the procedure. Sarah Apenkro, TV3 News, Accra.
North Tongue Member of Parliament Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa says the Council of State must come out to state their position on the appointments of 2 out of the 3 individuals appointed to serve as on the board of the Electoral Commission. According to the legislator, the continuous silence of the Council of State in matters such as this is shocking.
It's very obvious that we are no longer talking about just a key player in elections in Ghana, that is the National Democratic Congress, the party I belong to. We are now talking about a growing call, an avalanche of demands on the presidency to revoke the appointments of those partisan hacks, those political paracheeks he has appointed to the Electoral Commission. You have heard Kodeo speak. You have heard the venerable, the highly regarded former Chief Justice, Her Ladyship Sophia Akuffo. She hasn't minced words that perception is important. And you see, this does not do the NPP any good. It doesn't serve their interests at all. If you believe that you are capable of winning the elections fair and square, why don't you appoint people who are neutral, who are impartial, so that you give the process credibility already?
You're watching Media Live on TV3. My name is Noble Crosby-Ano. Going for a quick break. We're back with more stories. Stay with us.
Gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo Superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Ghana's Girls Got Talent. You too can change your world, and it's affordable with Airtel Tigo data bundles. Bring your dreams to life with the best data bundles only on Airtel Tigo. Dial *111# now.
Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.
From the north, south, east, and west, they came. They showed strength, aggression, wit, and above all, the zeal to come out as leaders of the pack. Kumasi brought the strong, Takoradi paraded their brave. Ho came to the party, and Accra showed their power.
Getting it onto your toes or your toe.
1, 2. And now, the qualified contestants get to compete for a spot at the final showdown of the Ghana's Reality Show. Come witness pure strength and resilience from the selected contestants as they compete in the final eliminator round. Saturday, the 8th of April, 2023, at exactly 8 a.m. prompt. Venue is at the Achimota Retail Center. Witness the might of Ghana's strongest. Ghana's strongest, the power.
Ghana's Strongest is powered by
Deluxy Acrylic Paint.
We are on a mission promoting access to quality health and education through the power of our media space. Since 2014, we have made great impact. TV3 mission now drives Ghana's quest to break barriers and provide access to inclusive and quality girls' education. Together with Women's Maternal Health Services, our mission to address the needs of the socially excluded has won the admiration of many. Indeed, TV3 Mission gets you the results. Mission is live on TV3 News 360 every Saturday and Sunday. Supported by Star Ghana Foundation, with thanks to Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office.
The Ghanaian woman. She's the symbol of true passion. She has a dash of inspiration, a double of endurance. She's the comforter, the physician, and chief architect of the home. The Ghanaian woman, the image of a true African queen. The Ghanaian woman deserves honor. Watch the inspiring stories, great achievements and challenges of outstanding women in Ghana on Ghana Women Awards Diary.
Ghana Women Awards Diaries shows Saturdays at 4:30 p.m. on TV3.
The Ghana Women Awards is brought to you by Techno, Stop at Nothing, Tasty Tom, and supported by
Welcome back to the program. Let's bring you more stories. Challenging Heights has petitioned the Africa Continental Free Trade Area over human trafficking and modern-day slavery in the supply chains of after participating companies. The petition, which was submitted to the After Secretary General, is urging the organization to institute mechanisms that would identify and address issues of child and forced labor, among other human rights violations.
The African Continental Free Trade Area is the world's largest free trade agreement, creating a single market for goods and services for almost 1.3 billion people across Africa. The trade area has an estimated combined gross domestic product of around $3.4 trillion. The agreement is intended to deepen the economic integration of Africa. However, achieving its full potential depends on significant policy reforms and trade facilitation measures among the signatory nations. In the views of Challenging Heights, there is the need for stringent measures on human trafficking, slavery, forced and child labor, among other human rights issues.
This is a laudable idea, but we believe that the AFTA initiative may not realize its goals if the AFTA countries do not take initiative to enact laws to enforce due diligence in supply chains of the companies that are participating in those countries.
Executive Director of the organization, James Kofi Annan, also spoke about some consequences if the continent does not address issues about human rights violations.
Many of those countries that we may be doing business with have enacted due diligence laws within their supply chains, and in those countries they are demanding that any company that does business with the companies of those countries should have policies in place and should have taken steps in addressing issues within their supply chain. After countries or after companies not having any diligence laws might hamper the goals of AFTA.
12 years ago, the United Nations published the UN Guiding Principles on Business and Human Rights. The publication contains the guiding principles on business and human rights, implementing the United Nations Protect, Respect, and Remedy framework. It details concrete and actionable steps for government and companies to meet to protect human rights in company operations, and it provides remedies if human rights violations occur.
Well, stay with us after this break for some sports news with Kevin Oswanta.
To the world of sports, what does complete mean to you?
When my team scores at the end of a 30-plus passing sequence, just like Pep Guardiola style.
When someone beats the buzzer with a shot from the logo, like Steph Curry.
Dominating opponents and punching my waist to a knockout, like Africa's greatest boxer, Azuma Nelson.
Running so fast I can afford to celebrate midway through a 100-meter race and smash the world record like Usain Bolt.
Hold up. What makes all of these sports complete is the screen. This is where you get access to all the extensive highlights, analysis, and insights.
So do join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. live on 3FM 92.7 as we serve you the best sports buffet and most satisfying in the sports world. The 3 Sports team will come together to review, preview, and analyze the latest in the sports world here on Sports Ultras.
No matter where,
the Capitals always tuned in their offices.
You actually stayed at before, right? Yeah. Oh, okay. In their retail centers.
Even in their busy marketplaces.
And in their cars.
Even in their homes and in their rooms, they listen. The capital is always tuned in.
Yes, we run the city. Here on 3FM 92.7.
Your Urban Lifestyle Radio.
Join Giovanni and AJ Sapon on 3FM Drive 92.7 Monday to Friday from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. We run the city on 3FM 92.7, your urban lifestyle radio station.
Well, he scored the winning goal, of course, when these two sides last met at the Emirates.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Kevin is here for the latest in sports. What's the package looking like?
Well, Crosby, you know that there's now 10% on bet to win, and yes, here in Ghana, and a number of people have expressed a lot of displeasure on that. So we managed to touch on that.
But will that affect your?
No, because I don't bet.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Well, welcome to Sports. My name is Kelvin Owusu here on Midday Live. Before we get to the better story, 8 senior high schools converged at the Barbara Sports Stadium on Wednesday for the 2023 edition of the Ghana Athletics Association National Inter-Schools event. Here is a report by Yao Fusulabi, who was present at the Barbara Sports Stadium. Infantipim School walked away with many of the medals in sprint, but the eventual 100 meters winner for the boys under 18 came from Kumasi Anglican. Joseph Ando of Infantipim was one of the best sprinters on the day. Adama Salam of Opokuwari School won the under 18 400 meters for boys, while Francis Enin of TI Ahmadiyya Senior High was the best high jumper of the day. He jumped a height of 1.89 meters. The winners shared their excitement after walking away with the big prizes.
It's so crucial if we want to move forward athletics in this country. What I've seen yesterday and today is incredible. The talents in the schools are just incredible. It's just incredible. We do not have any reason not to support them to grow. So from here, we will put them a document. We share it with the Ministry of Education. We share it with the Ministry of Youth and Sports, how to groom these people, especially once we are hosting the African Games. We can get talent to compete for Ghana during the African Games. So from here, I'm so excited though, but I'm also really worried. But if we allow this talent to go waste, the future will not be good for us. See the crowd, see the excitement, see the performances. Everybody's happy. The PTS are happy, the athletes are happy, we're happy, the fans are happy. What we can only do is to continue to do this one.
The athletics event was supported by many old athletes, inclusive former Ghana sprinter Eric Nkansa was there to support the young athletes and help them get through the right regimen for their races. Nkansa won bronze at the Africa Games in 2006, competed at the 1997 World Championships and the Olympics in 2004. His sprint record is pegged at 10.00.
Oh, not difficult at all. I just ran it easy. All because of hard training.
I'm very glad and happy. But then, thank God for the first, because with God all things are possible. And I thank God very much for granting me the strength to finish very well.
Kumasi provided the biggest atmosphere for athletics in Ghana. The GAA has promised that there will be many more in the future. Ghana needs growth in the sport. And these events are a perfect platform for it to thrive.
Yeah, we have a lot of talented in Ghana. I can say a lot, because if you see how these kids are running, some of them are world-class athletes. The only thing we need to give them motivation, more competitions, because to me, I think the government have to look for the Ghana athletics so that we can get a lot of world-class athletes. Yeah.
Well, now away from athletics, the government of Ghana is set to impose a new tax on betting companies and sports punters. Here is more details on the tax and what some Ghanaians had to say about it.
Back in 2021, the Ghana Revenue Authority and the Gaming Commission of Ghana signed an MOU to tax the gaming industry. A couple of years down the line, and that looks to almost becoming a reality. The government of Ghana have now decided that they would tax winnings from betting, games of chance, and then lottery. The allocated percentage for government in this tax would be 10% from what people win from these games. So far, the 3 sports team have reached out to the Gaming Commission of Ghana alongside a number of betting companies, all of which have decided that they are not ready to comment at this moment. Though the people of Ghana were ready to comment, most of which were displeased by the new tax laws set by the government on betting.
Your football analysis for your football expert for her. Our munim bomb yepa. And it's a Ghana Ben who say betting company no Sikawum and as a betting is Kawuma. On creative group, Sika, ABR 1 billion. No, for almost at to bet in Ibi. So almost Mudia, Sikani your group Nadia. Na me be a me taxi driver be a meton baby and me once in the quarter bet also bet 10% or so. Sikana Baba mobile money so Basas at he level also. Me this kind of took bang Basas at the task also. And this Sikana Median I hand a Birmingham.
For my side, they are not good.
what if like I can't chop maybe 100 cedi, we can't say 10 cedi for top. What you want to show me? That one me I not go like. Sake of that, me I go show the stake bets.
Me you see every day I dey work. You see every day I dey online. So what these people they do no good. It left small. If you they go public toilet safe, they go tell you task. Yeah. See somebody go struggle and sometimes if we they sleep, so we know they feel sleep, we they try everything possible, say make we work get something. Then you go tell say they take 10% out of it. Then you go take the betting company to 20%, 30%, very, very bad.
You Nine mobile money levi abonete e na to bu ba boma wa go go choda ba we ku ngo agba na.
One side of the stakeholders, that's sports bettors in Ghana, gave their opinion. We'll keep on trying to reach other stakeholders as the Three Sports team tries to bring you a comprehensive review of what people think concerning the new betting laws, which are expected to take charge pretty soon.
That'll be all for sports this afternoon here on Midday Live. My name is Kelvin Oswald. Entertainment News is next.
Well, the capital city of the Volta region, Hull, will come alive on Saturday, April 15, as nominees of the 24th VGMA ready themselves to make a grand stop there for this year's VGMA Experience Concert. The Experience Concert will see some of Ghana's top-notch and chart-topping artists perform to a cheering crowd and party with fans as part of activities for the 24th edition of the prestigious VGMA. Now, the VGMA Experience Concert, also known as the Nominees Jam, will take place at the Hull Sports Stadium. Mark the date and know the gate fee is absolutely free. The concert starts at 9 p.m. and will be aired on TV3 as well. Well, still in entertainment, Ghanaian actress Vicky Zuga has shared her take on same-sex marriage. The actress is of the strong opinion that the act is sinful. She called on Ghanaians to boldly condemn the act and stop saying they don't have any business to do with what people do with their sexuality. Well, rap lyricist Amrado has expressed worry over the constant comparisons to fellow rappers in the industry by some fans. In an interview on New Day, the rapper also shared his expectations for the 24th VGMA Best Rap Performance category.
How do you take it when people constantly, compare you with other rappers, and there's one faction that says this is the best rapper, this one says this is the best rapper? It's like there's a constant
Sometimes
confusion.
I'm home and then it drains me because it's like almost every conversation is Amrado, Amrado. I have a lyrics which I say, how many times have you pitched me against every rapper in Ghana? And most of the time people say, I love beef, but they come at me first. And when I take my time to reply, they say, but it's good for the growth. And I believe that once they pitch you against everyone, it means you're doing the right thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if it's draining, have you tried to reach out to some of these rappers that you are constantly compared with and accused of
in as much
with?
as it's draining, I understand that it's part of the game and it's part of the culture.
So you're enjoying it?
Yeah, I enjoy it. But it's just cool. You can't always be happy about something. Sometimes you let it slide or you learn from it, you move on. Yeah.
Have you gotten over, or maybe your fans, they never seem to have gotten over when Lyrical Joe won Rapper of the Year. There was this constant back and forth about why you should have won and it shouldn't have been him.
One thing about the fans is you can't control how they feel. They are supporting me and they expect me to excel in every angle.
Yeah.
But then once they attach emotions, my words can't control how they feel. I can only mend it by maybe doing my best or working hard and then maybe clinching it next time.
Were you upset about that?
No, not really. I stood in the auditorium and clapped for LJ.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
If he should win again, you are still in that category.
I'll work hard again.
Okay.
I'll keep working hard.
If it doesn't come to you?
It goes to another. it goes to a fellow.
It's not a big deal.
Hard. Yeah.
You have
bro, now my life net time. And it does only want so mean to me sign. Single room be made them a paddy be.
Let's now bring you some news across the Ghanaian border. Now, the Israeli military has carried out airstrikes on targets belonging to the Palestinian militant group in southern Lebanon and the Gaza Strip. The military said the attacks were a response to a barrage of 34 rockets fired from Lebanon into northern Israel on Thursday, which it blamed on Hamas. Militants in Gaza fired dozens more rockets after the strikes began. Tensions are high following 2 nights of Israeli police raids at the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem earlier this week. The raids triggered violent confrontations with Palestinians inside the mosque, which is Islam's third holiest site, and caused anger across the region. Hamas did not say it fired the rockets from Lebanon, which was the biggest such barrage in 17 years. But the Hamas leader, Ismail Haniyeh, who was visiting Beirut at the time, said Palestinians would not sit with their arms crossed in the face of Israeli aggression. That's our package this afternoon. My name is Noble Crosby, and there's more news on our website, 3news.com. Please do well to log on. We have the TAP production team. Thank you so much for watching the broadcast, and enjoy the festivities. Bye-bye.
This program is rated PG. It contains scenes of brief nudity, mild violence, and strong language. Parental guidance is advised.
Every little thing you did do to me, it's sweet to me for body. She a loving fee for me. Wow, 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 wow. Yeah, your bullet make her go crazy. I'ma get say you sure for me. Say make her withdraw money. Oh Roma, no go down. Need a carry your luggage. I define you for this. For this, I no drugs I fit to contain. Your body na baggage. So you know, see I'm falling for love. Overdose me, love the